Chances are, if you grew up in the post-war era or collect post-war, you have an S-2 turbine just like this. On this video, I'll show you the supersized version. Coming up next. Hey, welcome back if you're a subscriber, and just welcome if you're new here or came across this video. My father had a 671 very similar to this. Now this is the Century Club version, has a few more bells and whistles, but is a pretty accurate representation of the post-war era S-2 turbine. But in 1991, Lionel introduced a scale S-2, and in 2013, they gave it a boost by adding legacy to it. In this video, we'll take a look at the one I got. This is the Pennsylvania Railroad S-2 turbine, Lionel Legacy scale locomotive. This is road number 6200, and this is product number 6-11416. This was cataloged in 2013 and 2014 signature catalogs. The only main difference between the two catalogs was they introduced a pilot version of this locomotive in 2014. Now, incidentally, this isn't the first time that Lionel produced a scale S-2 locomotive. Back in 1991 and 92, it was cataloged, TMCC version. And I was at A.B. Charles Hobby Shop in Western Pennsylvania when one of these came in, and I tell you what, I think that was the first time I seen a scale Lionel locomotive, and I was in awe of it. I was used to my dad's 671 little post-war turbine with the puffer unit. So incidentally, on this version, the Lionel Legacy version, of course, it is a turbine, so there will be no chuffing and no puffing. And we'll talk about the some of the features. Has all the regular Lionel Legacy features. It has a operating coupler on the back, electro coupler. Has a IR sensor for going over sensor tracks. Has ash pan glow. Has a single strike bell. It has a very quillable whistle. And of course it has a fan-driven smoke unit, which is on all the time because, as I said, it is a turbine, so we don't chuff, we don't puff. Now, little backstory to getting this locomotive. Originally, when it was introduced in the catalog, I pre-ordered this from my local hobby shop, and when they came in, we started getting reports on the forums that they were coming in wet, moldy, and rusty. So I had my dealer, when mine came in, open it up, and sure enough, every one of the engines he got were wet, moldy, and rusty. So they all went back. There wasn't another one to be had. Now, they weren't all bad, but there was a good majority of them, and according to Lionel at the time, the problem was with the styrofoam wasn't cured properly or all the way. And when they put the engines in them, the moisture was just there, so that caused a lot of problems. So fast forward about 4 or 5 years, my buddies and I used to go down to Charlotte or Concord, North Carolina, when Lionel had their warehouse sale. So we went down. I think it was probably 2018 is when I got this. Went down on a Friday night, I saw this locomotive there. I kind of hemmed and hawed. Saturday morning, I went over and found it. And at the time, Dean, head of customer service at the time, assured me that this locomotive has been gone through and it's in perfect condition. So I took his word at it, brought it home, and sure enough, it was in great condition. The only thing I did find was a minor bent axle on the trailing truck of the locomotive. I ordered that part from Lionel and fixed it. And the engine's been beautiful ever since. It's got some great detail. It's a big engine big engine with engine and tender measuring in at 30 inches. For reference, the big boy is 34 inches. And I got to tell you that the tender alone to me is just awesome. Except for the big complaint with the tender was the molded in coal load. By now, Lionel Legacy engines were kind of always coming with a real coal load, and they just used the same tooling for the Legacy version as they did for the TMCC version, so it was molded in. So what a lot of people do now is they just get some coal and sprinkle it across the top, and it pretty much makes it look good. No excuse for Lionel not doing that to begin with, but it's not a not a killer for this one, in my opinion, because this thing has so many positives and very few I don't know what the negative would be. So why don't we fire it up, and we'll go through crew talk, we'll quill the whistle, we'll ring the bell, and we'll move it out.
This is the dispatcher. Do you copy?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Over.
Okay, start her up. Stand by for track orders.
Copy that. We're ready to move. Out. Dispatcher, train's buckled together. Can I get to the main line? Over.
Negative. Please hold. Over.
Okay, understood. Out.
Dispatcher here. You're cleared outbound. Over.
I copy. Thanks, dispatcher. Out. Copy that. We're in the green. Out. Dispatcher, we're going to beans. Out.
There you have it. The Lionel Legacy S-2 Turbine, Pennsylvania Railroad. What a magnificent engine, in my opinion. Despite the coal load, that's, to me, an easy fix. It doesn't excuse Lionel for using a molded-in coal load, but that is a minor thing when you look at this engine. And I'm actually very happy I was able to find one, especially after the fiasco of the wet engines and the rust and mold. But it's a beautiful engine. It's over 30 inches long. One of the longer engines here I have on the layout. Again, I think I mentioned this earlier, maybe I didn't, but the big boy comes in at 34 inches and this comes in at 30 inches. And to me, that tender, it has a presence. It's just it looks big, it looks bulky, and the engine itself, both of these just have a dominance on this layout, and I really like them. So Lionel did a fine job. Hopefully maybe they'll re-release this again and fix the coal load and let another generation of train enthusiasts experience a Lionel Legacy Scale S-2. Pretty impressive Scale S-2 turbine, isn't it? It really does pay homage to its post-war brother. And speaking of the post-war brother, I really hope that Lionel considers doing a Lion Chief Plus 2.0 version. I think it'd be a great seller. And it's been about 14 years since this Scale S-2 has been released, so we're about due. Hopefully Lionel considers doing it, adding all the legacy features, and updating the tender with a proper coal load. Well, that's about it for this week. Hey, if you like this video, I appreciate it if you punch the like button. If you're not a subscriber, we'd love to have you. And please comment. I read every one of them, and I reply to every one of them. So until next time, happy railroading.